Susan Hancock, Director of United States Affiliates. I'd like to share some important information on decentralization, combined financial reporting, the National Insurance Program, your regional offices, and training opportunities. But first, let's hear from Miller Fuller and what has happened in 1993 in the 1994 message to the affiliates.
Warm greetings from Habitat for Humanity International Headquarters. It's my joy and my privilege to bring you this, my 1994 annual message to the affiliates. I wish I could be there with you in person as you are showing and viewing this video, but with so many hundreds of affiliates now throughout the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and other places, it's simply not possible to be physically and personally present with you. I do hope, though, that you will receive this message in the warm and personal way in which it is being sent out to you. The first thing I want to do is to recap some of the highlights of the past year. By anybody's definition, this past year was an incredible one with so many highlights. First of all, we had projected that we would build about 7,500 houses in 1993. Even though we don't have the final figures here at the end of January, as I am recording this message for you, we do know that we built somewhere between 2,500 and 2,700 houses in the United States and another 4,700 to 5,000 houses overseas. So we made our projections as we had predicted. We had several special events during the year, but one of the really exciting ones was during Holy Week in April of last year when we had our 20,000 project here in Americas. 20 houses in 5 days, and the 20th house was the 20,000th house built, a real milestone. In July, we had the traditional annual Jimmy Carter Blitz Building Project. It was held in Canada this year. Again, a tremendous success. In October, we had the housewarming program, which was a television program. Many of you participated. There were hundreds of housewarming parties all across the country, and I want to thank you for participating and being a part of that, another successful event this past year. In December, we built the 25,000th Habitat for Humanity house. It was in Charlotte. My wife Linda and I had the privilege of being there. It was a cold, blustery day with some snow flurries, but it was so exciting to be a part of that milestone house with people from about 30 different churches participating. Other significant events of this past year were, first of all, the publishing of a cookbook that was produced by our Communication Services Department. My wife Linda was the editor. A lot of you have seen this cookbook and have used it in fundraising. Amazingly, the book sold over 80,000 copies by December and continue to sell at a brisk pace. If you haven't used it as a fundraiser, you might want to consider doing so. You can get them for $5 and sell them for $10, thus doubling your money. We also created a Department of the Environment this past year. That's a historic first for Habitat for Humanity. We realize that we will soon be the largest home builder in the United States within a few years, and we feel like that we should be a good environmentalist, and that's what this department is all about. Another thing that happened this past year in May was what we call the Entebbe Initiative. The Habitat International Board of Directors met in Entebbe, Uganda, in East Africa, and we adopted the Entebbe Initiative. What that initiative is about is that all countries around the world where Habitat for Humanity is operating are being called on to form a national organization, and they then will approve local affiliates as Habitat International now approves affiliates in the United States, and as the Habitat National Organization does in Canada. And all affiliates from that point forward in May of last year, all Habitat organizations around the world are now called affiliates. We are asking all of these affiliates to do all they can to raise money locally and then to tithe. All Habitat projects in the world are now being called upon to tithe to help others as others are helping them. You know that your tithing dollars goes to help build habitat houses in developing countries. I'm pleased to tell you that you broke a record this past year. We raised $2.7 million from the affiliate tithing. That was up over $600,000 from the previous year. That's good. It's not as good as it should be, but I want to thank you for your generosity in sharing with the work around the world. As we look forward into the new year, there are several exciting things that are right on the horizon. On March 1, we are expecting to approve the 1,000th affiliate in the United States, and also the projection overall throughout this country, in Canada, and in all the countries where Habitat is building. We expect to build 10,000 houses in 1994, another incredible milestone. Already this year, we've had one significant event, which was blitz building in connection with the Super Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia. The National Football League and a couple of their suppliers, in partnership with Atlanta Habitat for Humanity and Habitat International, blitz built 4 houses, which were completed on the Saturday before the Super Bowl. We're not ready to announce anything yet, but hopefully this can be continued in years to come. This Super Bowl blitz building in Atlanta was a part of what we are calling in Habitat International the Road to L.A. For 10 months, beginning last October, leading up to August 4, 5, and 6, which is when we will have our 18th anniversary celebration in Los Angeles, we're having 100 events from the Philippines to Botswana in Southern Africa, throughout the United States and Canada, and in other countries around the world. We are doing special projects leading up to our 18th anniversary celebration. Some of the big events that are planned are another blitz building project here in Americus, Georgia. It's called our 30,000 project, 30 houses in 5 days. The 30th house will be the 30,000th house built in this ministry. The Jimmy Carter Work Project at Eagle Butte, South Dakota, the first Jimmy Carter project at an Indian reservation. That will be in the month of July, as I said. Delta Sigma Theta, that wonderful African-American sorority that is partnering now with Habitat for Humanity International, will be blitz building 15 houses in St. Louis this coming summer. And then blitz building will be done just prior to the celebration in Los Angeles. I know that all of you were so saddened, as all of us were here at Habitat International, about the tragic earthquake that devastated Los Angeles in late January. Habitat International is responding. We are providing help in various ways, including funding to help rebuild, to renovate, to repair, and to build new houses there. Of course, we're continuing to help in South Florida and Louisiana and Hawaii following Hurricane Andrews and Iniki. We'll continue to be helpful as we can be following the flooding in the Midwest. Here in Americus, Georgia, we are going to have a very significant happening this year in that our new headquarters will be completed. 3 of the departments moved in late January. The remainder of the departments will move in October. And I want to thank so many of you who have been so generous in helping to pay for this very needed headquarters facility. The Sumter County Initiative is continuing in Americus and Sumter County, building more and more houses under the excellent leadership of Ted Swisher. The Day of Prayer and Action will be observed, of course, again this year. That's the 3rd Sunday of September, and I want to call on all of you to observe that special Sunday. Get the churches in your town and in your county and throughout your area to put bulletin inserts in their church bulletins. Observe this Day of Prayer and Action. We want to make shelter a matter of conscience. We want to make it socially, politically, morally, and religiously unacceptable to have poverty, housing, and homelessness, and observing the Day of Prayer and Action is a good way to do that. I want to say a word about campus chapters. We now have these official campus chapters at about 300 colleges and universities and some high schools and seminaries all across the country and in other countries. If you don't have a campus chapter at a college or university in your town, form one. The campus chapters department here in Americus will help you to do that. And if there's one already there, make sure you work with them to help raise money, to provide volunteers to get your work done. I want to say a word also about the Global Village program of Habitat. This year, we plan to send out 100 groups, that's an average of 2 a week, to go out to places like Honduras and Guatemala and India, Papua New Guinea and other places around the world to build Habitat for Humanity houses. Consider going on a Global Village work project yourself. They usually last for a week or 10 days, 2 weeks, and it's an excellent way to learn about Habitat's work around the world. Now, before I conclude my message to you, I must say just a brief word about the basics of this ministry. We know that God has called us to this work, and to get it done in the right way, we must always remember the basics. And what are they? You can find them in the covenant, but simply stated, a big part of the basics in Habitat is prayer. We believe that God hears and answers our prayers. So we should always seek God's guidance through prayers. We should have prayers at all house dedication services. You should open your meetings with prayers. We need to always seek strong church support to keep us close to our foundation in this ministry. Build simple, decent, but always good and solid houses. Don't add so many frills to your houses that they're no longer simple, decent houses. Keep the cost down. Habitat is not a giveaway program. Sweat equity is a vital part of this ministry. No profit, no interest. Whatever you do, all Habitat houses should always be built and sold at no profit and no interest. Non-discriminatory family selection criteria is central to what Habitat is about. A limited government partnership is also central. We want the support and help of government, but we've always called upon them to help us in a limited way, basically to set the stage, to provide land, streets, sidewalks, services, to be helpful, but we want to build the houses with private resources from churches and individuals and civic organizations and local foundations. The government should help, but in that limited way of helping us set the stage. Remember always that Habitat is an open and unashamedly a Christian organization. We're non-doctrinal, non-denominational. We're open to help and support from anybody out of whatever motivation they have who wants to help, but we are Christ-centered. We are called by God in this work, and we're very open about that. Tithing is expected. That is a part of the covenant. All of the basics, as I said a moment ago, are in the covenant. Review it frequently. Be faithful to it. Use and employ the theology of the hammer, getting all of the churches involved and doing more than talking and singing about religion. True religion is more than that. It's got to be put into practice. I've written a new book. I've been working on it for the past 18 months. It's now at the printers, and it will be off the press in May. The name of the book is The Theology of the Hammer, and a lot of the philosophy and theology of Habitat is in that book. You'll get a complimentary copy as soon as it comes out in May, and I hope it's helpful to you in the continuation of your good work. Always remember that our purpose in this ministry is to eliminate poverty, housing, and homelessness. We want everybody in the world who gets sleepy at night to have a decent place to sleep on terms they can afford to pay. We want you to tell everybody about the work. Make sure everybody in your town and in your area knows about it. Let your light so shine that others can see your good works. So spread the word. Put a bumper sticker on your car. Wear a lapel pin. Wear a Habitat t-shirt. But help to spread the word so that we can fulfill what we believe has been given to us from God. And that is the mission to provide everybody in the world with a decent place in which to live on terms they can afford to pay. Well, I've appreciated this opportunity to share this message with you. I want to close, though, with three stories. Habitat is about people, and it's about what impact this ministry has on people. The first story I want to tell you is from Lake Katwe, a small village in western Uganda. I was there in May prior to the board meeting, and we stopped at this new Habitat house to dedicate it. We planted a tree, as we did everywhere that we went over there, as we traveled among the 24 different Habitat affiliates in western Uganda. They introduced the widow who was occupying this new home with her 3 children. And they told me that her husband was deceased, and in Uganda, when a woman's husband is deceased, she's called a widow, and her children are called orphans. They asked me to speak. A Bible was presented. They asked me to say a few words. And in the middle of my speech, I remembered that verse from the book of James, which reads, "True religion, pure and undefiled, is this, to minister to the widows and orphans in their time of distress, and to keep yourself unspotted from the world." I began to cry. I couldn't continue. I was so moved in realizing that what we were doing there was a fulfillment of that scripture. We were ministering to that widow and to her orphans in that time of distress. It was an incredibly moving and unforgettable moment for me. And what you're doing is precisely that. It's true religion, pure and undefiled. And I know that God blesses you as you continue in it. Another story is about a house we did here in America this Christmas. We have done for several years what we call our Christmas house. And I'm going to ask that it be put on the screen now, the old house that was occupied by this family that we built a new house for in DeSoto this year. This is where they were living. What you're seeing on the screen right now is where this family was living. We found out about their plight, and we went, and a group of people on 5 successive Saturdays built them a new home. I want you to see what it looks like now. Isn't that an incredible difference? That's what Habitat's about, transforming the living conditions of people, letting them come up and out of that kind of desperate poverty to live in a modest but a good and solid house. Again, that's what this ministry is about. And finally, the story I want to tell you last is from Florida. There was a family there living in an old, broken-down sort of camper. And it was winter, it was cold, and the mother was stuffing some newspaper in a broken window, and she happened to see an article about Habitat for Humanity. She called the number and made contact with the local affiliate, and they ended up building a house for her and for her husband and her children. It had a transforming effect on that family. She spoke at a breakfast for that affiliate recently, and at the conclusion of a long and moving speech, she said these words: "You folks in Habitat have not only built us a house, you have built us a foundation for our lives." My friends, my Habitat partners, that's what you're doing. That's what this work is about. My prayer is that God will continue to guide you. God will continue to use you in ever more powerful ways as we put the theology of the hammer into practice, bringing Christians together, bringing others together, bringing the corporate community together, the civic organizations, realizing that we are not denominational or doctrinal, that all are welcome to participate in this ministry out of a faith motivation or coming from some other motivation. But this is God's work. We've been called to it. And may you be empowered and given all of the courage and resources you need to continue your good work throughout this new year. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Millard. We at Habitat for Humanity International want to bring you the resources that you need to support your affiliates. Decentralization is part of those resources. This means getting the services closer to you, the affiliates, and providing much more information and support. We began this in 1993 by placing 5 area directors out of the international headquarters in Americas to 5 locations throughout the U.S. These area directors assist in serving and directing the regional offices, which in turn serve you. Remember, when you need assistance and guidance of the regional office, they're there to help you. Also, feel free to call the Habitat Helpline and your area directors, and of course myself. We at International are encouraging affiliates to move towards a combined financial reporting system. You may only be building a few homes in your hometown and others worldwide through your tithe, but you are part of a $150 million a year organization building 10,000 homes in 1994. As we continue to work towards establishing a combined financial system, these are the services you can expect to receive from Habitat for Humanity International and Deloitte & Touche. We'll be able to file your tax returns. We will be providing a standard chart of accounts and an affiliate financial policies and procedures manual in the first quarter of 1994. Your development efforts will be enhanced when you can provide a combined report to corporations and foundations. We have a national insurance program. Robinson Connor of North Carolina Incorporated has worked very hard to bring a variety of insurance programs to you, the affiliate. We have more coverage for less money, a national homeowners policy, and customer service representatives at the agency to answer all your questions. As we continue to work hard to provide information to assist you, please use your affiliate operations manual and your affiliate update. The update is a training tool, provided updating information on board training, fundraising ideas, national corporate sponsorships, construction tips, issues dealing with family selection and family support. Please remember to give us any board of director changes so your board members can receive the update. During 1993, the regional offices provided 85 different training events throughout the U.S. In 1994, the offices will provide over 100 training events, and we will have development directors in all 5 areas to assist with funding opportunities. Please remember, we're here to support and serve you. Thanks to you, the affiliates, 1994 promises to be an exciting year.